Hello all, welcome to another episode of AWS Show and Tell. I am Anil Nadiminti, your host, joining from SFO today. I am a senior solutions architect here at AWS, working with the fintech customers, and joining along with me are Veda and Kalyan. So, hi Veda, hey Kalyan. Maybe we can do a quick round of introductions here. Veda, you want to go first?
Yeah, hey everybody. Thanks, Anil, for hosting us today. My name is Veda Raman, joining here from Maryland. I'm a principal solution architect at AWS, work very closely with our AGI, that is Artificial General Intelligence team here. I have been with AWS for 7+ years now. Nice to be here.
Kalyan?
Hello, Anil. Thank you so much for having us. Nice to meet you all. I'm Kalyan. I'm a principal PMT here based out of the Bay Area, and I'm working on helping launch web search capabilities on AWS, and very excited for today's session.
Thanks, Kalyan. So yeah, folks in the live stream, let us know where you're joining from. We know you join from everywhere across the globe, so let us know in the chat, and we'll pop up the the city name or the country name here right here in the stream. Uh, all right, so in today's stream, we'll talk about a new capability uh, that we've launched recently. This is, maybe I'll just set the stage and let Veda and Kalyan expand on that. So imagine that you have AI agents that are, performing a task, and they need to be able to perform a web search, or they need knowledge essentially, right? So, and then they're reaching out to the real world to be able to get the knowledge. So today they're using the knowledge of the LLM, which is probably frozen in time, to be able to perform their tasks, or they're reaching out to knowledge bases, right? So to perform these RAG. Today's session, we're going to focus on web search capabilities, and Veda and Kalyan are going to talk to us and show us how to implement the web search capability available in AgentCore. So Veda, I'll let you take it over from here.
Yeah, I think, Kalyan, you had a deck that you wanted to run through.
Yes.
So
There it is.
Yes, let's do that. So can you all see my screen?
Yep.
The web search. All right. So we are here today to talk about the new capabilities that we just launched at NY Summit on June 17th, which is web search, having a web search tool on Amazon Bedrock AgentCore. So it's an AWS native tool that we launched to help ground your agents with current accurate web information. So the next few slides, I want to quickly walk you through what it is, how it works, and eventually pass it on to Veda to kind of give us a real demo of the tool in action, right? So speaking about web search, so what did we launch? So like I said, it's an AWS native tool. The key features of the tool that we launched is that we are basically, AWS, we are launching our own proprietary web index as well as our own knowledge graph. So this web search capability that we launched is built upon Amazon's internal web index with high quality web documents, as well as a proprietary knowledge graph with structured word information, right? So we are not relying on any other third-party web index. It's Amazon owned and maintained with high quality curation of these web documents as well. And the second feature of this capability is that it is latency optimized for near real-time applications. So we are with a sub 1 second latency, this tool actually enables fast responsive retrievals, which is very critical for agentic or real-time applications. Third, we are also rolling out with high retrieval quality. So ensuring that we give out when the agent calls the tool, you get comprehensive relevant results, ensuring that the customers receive high search quality and coverage. In addition to that, we also wanted to give more power for these agents/developers by enabling configurable retrieval quality controls, where the agent can actually say, hey, how many results do I want to retrieve, as well as certain domains that you want to either include or deny, so that you actually have the capability to pass on more relevant domains for that specific set of use cases that you're trying to enable.
So Kalyan, so recently I was chatting with like somebody who's already using web search in coding agents, right? So they say that these coding agents have the web search features. So are we saying that we are building these web search features for the agents themselves that are running these tasks, not only coding tasks, but anything else that's out there? Is that what we're trying to build here?
Yeah, so this a great question, Anil. So this web search tool that we're launching on AgentCore, or rather launched on AgentCore, it's a general purpose as a search engine. Think of it like it can meet various use cases. It can be medical, financial, coding, technology related, or anything that are agnostic to a specific use case. But it's a multi-purpose web search engine tool.
Excellent. Thanks for clarifying that.
Of course. All right. Moving on. So I just want to quickly call out some of these enterprise grade functionalities that are baked into this web search tool. Number one, this is a tool that promises data sovereignty with zero data egress. One of the key customer problems that we heard from the field is that whenever customers are working with third-party search APIs, data usually leaves your secure AWS boundaries or trust boundaries. So with this tool now natively available on AgentCore, none of the customer data would ever leave your AWS trust boundaries. So that's number one. It's a fully managed web retrieval service on AgentCore. Like I said, it's built on Amazon's infrastructure for search. It is the same, by the way, I just want to call out, this is the same search infrastructure that is currently powering several of our flagship chat assistants like Alexa Plus, Amazon Retail Assistant, which used to be called as Rufus, Kiro, which is a coding assistant. Like I said, it's a multi-purpose. It's the same search infrastructure that can be used across various B2B and B2C applications, right? And then the fourth one, which is also quite important, is that it also gives you an intelligent snippet extraction. What I mean by that is when agent searches for a certain query, the web search tool only sends the most relevant piece of the snippet back to the LLM context. We don't send the full entire document, but we intelligently extract the most important passage from a certain web document, which is more relevant to the user query, and only send it back to the LLM context. So what it does is it helps reduce the context blot that goes into the LLM, and also offers the customers token efficient usage. So to kind of reduce the token costs as well. So all of these enterprise grade functionalities are baked in, are available for the customers today.
And that's important that you highlighted that, Kalyan, because essentially the agents are doing a web search to gather the information, but if it is coming back with a lot of data, then essentially the agent is probably going to start hallucinating, because now it has data from maybe 10 or 20 providers content, right? So and then it's going to probably start giving inefficient responses. So thanks for highlighting that. But one item I wanted to ask is that on the zero data egress, right? So can you speak, or do we want to speak later on zoom in on that aspect as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to double click into that. So basically, like I mentioned, as we were talking to multiple customers and field service solution architects, one common problem that we've been hearing is that because until today, there is no AWS native solution available, AWS customers were always working with third-party search APIs. And that introduces this new risk, because now we are working with new third-party APIs, the data would leave your secure AWS boundaries, right? The customers don't know where the data is going, whether it's being logged, how it is being used. And several of our sensitive workload customers, such as life sciences or finance, certainly in the finance field, they're pretty wary about that. So what we are saying with this tool is none of this data would ever leave your boundaries. So we are promising within AWS trust boundaries, none of this data is logged or being sent to any other third party. Nobody's looking at your queries. So it's all secure and compliant to the customer needs.
Thanks. Yeah, that clarifies a lot of details on the zero data egress.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just quickly moving on, I just want to quickly give you what this tool would look like. Like here is like I mentioned, there's a web search tool which is propagated as a gateway target. So you get an MCP compliant format out of the gate. So here is a sample response schema of what the tool would look like. You can see the tool name, a query, which is latest tech news of May 2026. And you can see the response JSON with the 4 fields that we have: text, URL, title, and publish date. Basically, text is the intelligently extracted snippet, which is most semantically relevant to the user query. URL is the actual URL of the web document, the title, and the publish date, which is basically, to our best knowledge, when was this article last published, right? So this is the first version, V1 of the tool that we launched. We have more and more. We're adding more and more features to this in the upcoming days/weeks. So we expect this to get much more and more richer, giving our developers far-grained controls to fine-tune this tool and use it to meet their enterprise needs.
So does it mean that when the developers make a request, web search request, and the response comes back, they'd probably need to look at the latest schema to understand if there are new fields that are being added, or use the schema to be able to parse it?
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
And one item I see is that it says MCP compliant format, right? So I know that's a catchy term. So can you speak about that as well?
Yeah, it is MCP compliant format. What we mean is it is being surfaced as a tool that an agent can call upon from a gateway perspective. Within the AgentCore gateway, you can have access to multiple tools, which is LLM-friendly, MCP compliant format. So along with the search tool, we have other tools baked into the gateway. So customers who are building agents on AgentCore should be able to call different tools, invoke multiple tools, and use it to meet their use case needs. Anything else, Veda, that you might want to add here?
Yeah, I think MCP has been the standard, Anil. If you've been in this space for a long time, we saw that MCP was launched by Anthropic. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, which is a standard way for your agents to interact with tools, right? What are AI agents? AI agents are just LLM-powered compute infrastructure, right, that can take action as well as reason with the power of LLM. And the way it takes action is via tools. And MCP gives you that common standard protocol wherein you can access any tool via that MCP protocol. And so AgentCore Gateway supports that MCP protocol. And any tools that you connect via Gateway, that's the standard protocol that it uses. And so it is MCP compliant, meaning so the web index that we build, it is fully managed. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure, the models behind it, anything. We build the web index and make it available via gateway in that MCP compliant format so that your agents can connect to the gateway. And the gateway offers you the discovery of the several tools. Along with your other in-house tools, you can attach web search tool as well, so that you have all your other, say, maybe database tools, other vendor API tools, a lot of other tools, and web search is one of the tools that can attach to your gateway. And you have now web search as well, powering all of your agents that are connecting to that gateway.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Veda. Okay, I think now we got to the interesting piece of today's conversation. So I'll hand it over to Veda to give us a quick demo of the tool in action.
Perfect. Thank you, Kalyan. So I have two demos today. So let's see. I have one demo where I have a Strands agent, okay, and I have a front end that is connected to this Strands agent. Strands is our agentic SDK, which is open source. So it makes it easy for you to build agents. It gives you that agent orchestration loop. It is an SDK that makes it really easy so that you don't have to do the heavy lifting of creating that orchestration loop around your agents, right? So I have the Strands agent, which is connecting to a gateway in my AWS account. I've already created an AgentCore gateway, and I've already attached a web search tool to my gateway. Right. So, and I can show you, attaching a web search tool to a gateway is very, very simple. So all you need to do is go to AgentCore, create the gateway, give it a name, and then you configure the inbound identity for that gateway. Inbound identity can be IAM auth, or it could be an OAuth provider-based auth as well. And once you configure the identity, you just add the MCP target to it. That is what you're seeing on the screen here, right? So once you add the MCP target, when you go to connectors, you have the web search tool. You just need to choose that and attach the web search target to this MCP gateway. and then you create it. So web search will be automatically attached to that gateway, and the gateway exposes an MCP URL based compliant URL. That is what you would use in your agentic application. So in a nutshell, this is how it'll look. So your agents on the left here send queries to the web search target behind AgentCore Gateway, and AgentCore Gateway figures out, okay, I need to call the web search tool, and calls our web search index, and the index responds back, and that's the response that is sent back to the agents, which Kalyan talked about, right? So I have that entire setup here. So let's
So
ask.
I have one question, Veda, because
Mhm.
we are running the search. Let's finish the search. Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked it to summarize today's top tech news. And so here it is. My agent knows that today is June 30th, and my agent, which is backed by Claude Sonnet 4.6 here, is now getting back the results from web search tool and summarizing that for me, right? So if you see here, AI token costs are surging as enterprise AI agents become mainstream, right? That's, I think everybody is facing that. So here's the all of the top tech news for today that it gathered from the web index and got back. And here I show the actual query that the agent sent to the tool. So this is the query that it sent, top tech news for today. And the max results, I only want 10 results. Again, you can send a number between 1 and 25, the max number of results that you want. The default is 10. So again, this is a way to control your LLM costs, right? You don't want to bloat up your context. You don't want 25 different results for your use case. Again, if you're doing a deep research use case, maybe you want all of them, but you can control how many results are gotten back. And each of these results are in the same format that Kalyan mentioned. There is a published date. This is the actual text snippet that came back from that web page, which is semantically relevant to the query that was passed in, the title of the page, and the actual URL as well.
So we get the source as well
Yes.
as we parse and get the
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
Now we have a question coming up in the chat,
Mhm.
which is, does this apply? Shankar asked this question: does this apply for homegrown web applications for customers who manage hybrid models? And I'm assuming that the question is, can this run outside of the AWS as well, right? So can the web search tool be integrated?
Yeah, so you can run your agents anywhere you want. You can use any model you want, but you still need to create that agent core gateway and then the web search tool behind the gateway. And now you can access that agent core gateway from anywhere in any of your web applications.
Thanks. And while you mentioned that your demo is based on strands, you also just now clarified that you can bring any model and any
Correct.
framework. So that's the construct that we offer, where in AgentCore you can bring any model, any framework, and
Exactly. Yeah.
scale it for your users on AgentCore.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Agent Core is an agentic framework where you can bring any model, any agentic SDK, be it LangChain agents, LangGraph agents, or your own agentic loops that you want to bring in, any models and run on Agent Core. Right. So right now my agent is running on Agent Core runtime, which is our compute engine within the Agent Core services. Um, you can bring any model, right, and any framework. So as you can see here, my agent, like the web search tool, returns several such results, 10 results. All of them have this title, URL, publish date. But my web search also returns some results here. If you go look at this, there is a text snippet and the published date, but the title and the URL are none here. That means they are the results from our knowledge graph. So remember, Kalyan talked about we build the web index from, the content that we source from a lot of domains. And we also build a knowledge graph on top of it. And the title and the URL here are null for knowledge graph results because they are sourced from all of the content that we sourced from several different domains. So this is a knowledge graph result, and so that's why the title and the URL are null. But the advantage here is that it is more authentic information if the result is coming back from a knowledge graph.
Got it. And you mentioned that we are able to bring 10 results back in this case. That looks like the default value. So now those 10 results that are coming back, are they ranked based on relevancy to this particular response? Is that how the default works?
Yes, they are ranked in decreasing order based on the relevance. Kalyan, do you want to talk a little more about that relevance ranking?
Yeah, so I think based on the query, what we do at runtime is for that relevant query, we kind of do internal ranking on how we, based on relevance across our index, the web index, as well as our graph, and we kind of rank them and then propagate that back to the web search tool. So we have internal relevance scores that we maintain, and then we manage and continually improve upon that so that we ensure highly relevant information is surfaced back to the tool.
Got it.
All right. I have another demo. So this is another agent, a research analyst agent, equity research analyst agent that I built, where on the left you see I have portfolio allocation, and these are all default values that I assign more or less equally among all of these verticals here. And now I ask my agent to optimize the allocation of my portfolio for the next quarter based on current market conditions. And so now, if you see, this is going to issue a lot of web search queries. So if you see here, it called the web search tool like 5 or 6 queries. So this is what Kalyan was talking about, the context plot, right? So context will start getting bloated up if you, for a single research, if you issue like say 10 queries, 10 times 25, a lot of tokens come back. And so that is why we want to, first of all, there are two ways we are trying to minimize the context bloat here, right? One is we are not sending back the entire web page, but we are sending intelligently just a snippet, which is most relevant to the query that is being asked. Plus, we are giving you controls as to how many results do you want back for your use case. And so with that, you can set what is the right amount of context that you want for your LLM. So as you can see, now my portfolio got allocated based on the current market conditions, and the agent is suggesting that I increase my technology allocation by 10 points, and then biotech and healthcare by 1, and reduce my renewable energy and so on. So this is all based on current market conditions. And so again, the same, it did several different web searches here, and the same, like intelligent snippets come back with the title and the URL. So you can take the URL and then provide citations within your responses to your end users.
Great. So it looks like the research agent can run parallel queries using the MCP tool and gather the data back so that the agent can then process the response and do whatever.
Exactly. Yes. And behind the gateway, I just have one tool here with web search, but you can have multiple different tools, and you can have your internal documents attached, right, to a different tool, your databases, other APIs. And so the gateway can kind of combine all of this and give all the tools to the agent, and the agent can access whatever tool it needs and perform the actions that it needs to do. So really convenient for you. You don't have to set up each and every connection, and that's the power of MCP, right? Once you start following the MCP protocol, you can bring in any tool that follows that protocol.
So yeah, just additional context for our viewers. Recently at the NY Summit as well, like the Bedrock Managed Knowledge Bases team also rolled out a BMKB tool that in for the example that Veda is showing today, you can also hook up internal knowledge tool via BMKB, add web search tool, and kind of combine private and public search in one agent if that's the use case that you're pursuing. So you have more options and more use cases that you can enable with both the tools now.
So, and when you mentioned MKB, maybe
Full Bedrock knowledge bases. Yeah,
managed knowledge bases, right?
managed.
So yeah, that's a new feature that was launched as well very
Yeah.
recently, so that you can source your internal knowledge and store it in that knowledge base, right? Is that
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so with that, like both the tools connected to the gateway, you can expose your internal knowledge documents, internal web pages, as well as web search to your agents so that they can combine both during for your use case when they're doing the research, right? So, a powerful way to combine both internal and external um, documents.
excellent? Yeah, this is a great demo that shows the power of being able to do that, and it looks like it didn't take much long to create that because you just had to add the MCP connector,
Mhm.
MCP target, and that's all it took to start using the tool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the agent itself, right? So the code for the agent itself, um, you specified the MCP target, like as a tool in the agent code. Is that what you've done?
Yes. So let's going back to this. Yes. So this is where like I created the gateway and then I created the MCP target and then just specified web search as my connector. And now I had the entire web index available behind the gateway for me. I didn't have to do anything else. It's just a click a few buttons. You can do it via CLI or using CloudFormation, infrastructure as code. And you have the entire web index available. You don't have to manage any infrastructure whatsoever for this.
Now, one more follow-up question for you is typically when we hit the web pages, they're in HTML format, right? But our agents maybe like a different format, and you've shown a schema. So how does the engine know that it has to get the data in this particular schema, or does it already support that, and or do you have to pass HTML after you receive the data?
Yeah, so I think Kalyan, you can talk about how we build the web index a little bit more to give the details there.
Yeah, it's basically we maintain our own internal web index, Anil. So we have crawlers who are crawling the public websites available, and then we index that internally, and we convert that into the format that the agents would be more comfortable with. So we take care of all of that. So
Okay,
that
the raw HTML is going to be converted to a format where you don't need to deal with all of that.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All that grunt work is already taken care behind the scenes by the team. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about is it an HTML format? Can my agents understand that and all of that? So it is hitting this when you launch the queries, when your agent sends in a query, like you see here, what is the top AWS news, right? It hits the index. It hits the index that has been pre-created for you.
Right.
And the index makes sure it gives you back the responses in text that is understood by your LLMs, right? So you don't have to worry about, and we keep this index up to date constantly, right? Within minutes, you will have the information there in the index.
Got it. Yeah, this is great. Thanks for sharing details on how the web search functionality works. So I'm assuming that this is now generally available.
It is, yes. You can start using it today.
All right. So yeah, that's it on the demo, folks. Any last words for our viewers before we end the session, Veda, and any takeaways?
Yeah, please let us know if you need anything new features. Please let your AWS account teams know. Are always looking to prioritize what you want next in the product, and we hope you try it.
Thanks a lot. Yep. So that's it from our side today. Thanks for joining the live stream. I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Anil.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks.